And as always, your views and comments are welcome on this show. Look for us on our social media handles or Joy News on TV. We'll be glad to share your thoughts with the rest of the world on Facebook and on Twitter. Remember, the hashtag is The Pulse. Thank you for joining us. My name is Francis Aban. We begin today with security matters because the Ghana Police Service has stepped up its efforts in Accra in response to the annual surge in crime around election periods and also nearing the Yuletide. Next month, Ghanaians will go to the polls, and preparations have so far been taken and actually taking people's attention off their personal security whilst criminals hatch plans to attack when no one is watching. The situation this year is even more precarious due to the Christmas that immediately follows the elections. Now, a police clampdown in the capital has so far resulted in the arrest of a man who wore a military uniform, armed himself, and stationed at Adenta Frafraha, where preparations were actually underway for President Mahama to commission a community day senior high school. He took the advantage to be there. Here is his profile, just so you know who I'm talking about. He's called David Mensah. He's 30 years old. He was arrested on the 11th of this month at Frafraha. And as you can see there on your screens, the gentleman who managed to get military uniform and pose as a security operative was grabbed by the Ghana Police Service. They found on him a foreign pistol, handcuffs, and the target, according to the police, most likely was the President, John Mahama. Here's the Accra Region Police Commander, ACP Timothy Yosa Bonga, addressing the media today.
Has again arrested one David Mensah for posing as a national security operative to the presidency. The facts are that on the 11th of November 2016, the Adenta police, together with other security personnel, arrested a 30-year-old imposter possessing a foreign pistol and a pair of handcuffs at Frafraha. The suspect was arrested while preparations were ongoing to prepare the grounds for the president's commissioning of a community senior high school at Adenta Frafraha. The suspect on the said day arrived at the event venue early enough and carried himself about as a security detail to the Flagstaff House. However, after a careful observation by security persons around, he was questioned further. Luck eluded him as he displayed gross ignorance in the work he claims to do, therefore warranting his arrest. During interrogation, he admitted he was not a security detail at the presidency, but claimed to be an ex-military officer, which claim is yet to be established. The police found on him a foreign pistol, handcuffs, and a security communication gadget. A further search conducted on him led the police to retrieve a number of military apparel and 2 digital cameras in his possession. Investigations are still ongoing.
Now, we'll dig deep into this shortly. Quite a bizarre story, but also today, the Ghana Police Service have also revealed the arrest of the ringleaders of a car snatching syndicate here in Accra. Well, we'll bring you some more information on that in just a moment, but let's just show you the commander has some more details on this particular syndicate. You may want to get the information if you're thinking your car was targeted a few weeks ago.
The regional police has arrested 5 suspects who snatched vehicles from their target victims. They are Osman Suleimana, aged 24 years, and a welder, David Ajimai, aged 21, a student. Ampoma, aged 20, also a student. Jeffrey Amwa, a student. Manford Che, unemployed, and Mohammed Abdullahi, age 31, a businessman and the dishonestly receiver. The facts are that on 12th of November 2016, suspect Manford J contacted and expressed interest in a Hyundai Elantra saloon vehicle with a DV number plate being offered for sale by the owner. Both parties arranged to meet in the victim's house, and after the suspect had inspected the vehicle, he managed to lure the victim to a fitting shop at Tunungwa Barrier for a second opinion on the vehicle's condition. At the fitting shop, two young men dressed like fitters, but were not, approached the victim and, in the process of testing the car, sped off, leaving the complainant to his feet. The victim raised an alarm, and with the support of others, they were able to arrest one of the suspects, who was not fast enough to join the other accomplices. He was brought to the police station, and during the interrogation, he admitted the offense and led police to arrest the other three accomplices. So far, the police has been able to retrieve 3 vehicles from the suspects, 2 Hyundai Elantra vehicles and 1 Toyota saloon car. They shall be arraigned before court soon.
So that's for the car snatching syndicate. But let's quickly return to the first angle of the story I brought to you earlier about the man who was posing as a national security operative, picked up just before the president arrived at the commissioning of the Community Day Senior High School at Adenta Fafraha. Luckily, a man was there. He actually covered the program for us. But let me find out from him what happened that day. He may not have seen the action, but he should just remind us of what happened there at Adenta Fafraha. Joseph, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Francis.
I do recall you went to cover that assignment. Did you hear anything about this when you went to cover the program?
Not at all, Francis. No such thing came up. In fact, the issue is that we were with the president right from the morning. We started from he commissioning the Gold Coast refinery at the Kotoka International Airport. From there, we moved with a convoy all the way towards Adenta Fafraha, where that event took place. In fact, we got there some few minutes before the president arrived. And just before he came in, as usual, security personnel were at the scene. No such arrest was made in our presence while we were at that particular event.
Okay, but did you realize that the security arrangements at the time was more than the usual?
It's the usual. I mean, for being fortunate enough to be following the president when he goes around, more often than not, even before he arrives, the security personnel arrive. They take various positions all across the place where the event is taking place. Even about hundreds of meters before the actual venue, they are always positioned long before. So in terms of the security arrangement, I didn't notice anything unusual when I got to the grounds.
Okay. We will look into this in just a moment. We'll go for a short break and we'll come back. ASP Efiatenge, Head of Public Relations for the Accra Regional Police Command, will join us to have us understand in a broader context what all of this is about and generally preparations for the elections and Christmas by the Ghana Police Service. Details after the break. Stay with us. You're still watching The Pulse on the Joy News channel on Multi TV, and just before the break we were talking about security in the Greater Accra region. The police have been busy in the last month or so covering a lot of issues ranging from car theft to also imposters who are showing up at areas where they are not supposed to. The Head of Public Relations of the Accra Regional Police Command, ASP Efiatenge, is joining me in the studio this afternoon for more on this. Thank you, madam, for coming. First, let me say good job done with what we've already seen with the car syndicates that you've been able to snatch, to arrest, and then the imposter. Let's begin with the imposter, the 30-year-old man. When you arrested him before the president arrived, has he been able to establish his motive of why he was even there in the first place?
Actually, what happened was that on the said day, we were all undertaking certain security assessments and certain security measures to ensure the successful arrival of the president, until we realized that this man was around. And he's been with some of the security men around, going up and down. So looking at his demeanor, observing him for some time, we decided to probe further and find out who he was, because we knew ourselves, we knew the actual components, the number of personnel that were there. So we had to invite him, where we asked what he was doing there. Then he boldly told the police that, oh yes, he's one of the national security operatives, and he has been assigned to the Flagstaff House, so he's also here to also ensure. So right from the beginning, we said, oh, okay, fine. Until we had the national security, the real operatives coming, then in that process, we also try to cross-check, because in some of these ceremonies or events, we have the way we organize our things, only for them to say that no, they did a little bit of questioning. Then we really got to know that he was just there, he didn't know what to say, and we realized that yes, he was an imposter. So we conducted a search on him, and we found a pistol on him. We also found a pair of handcuffs. So we extended our search further to his abodes and any place that we believe he could hide any of these things. Then we got to the military uniforms, the boots, and the berets, and things that should belong to the security sector, hence arresting him.
Okay. Now, did he say where he got all of this from?
Yes, those ones are yet to be investigated, but from him, initially he told the police that he was an ex-military officer and that he's been dismissed. He's been changing. It is not true. We have found out from the military, and that is not true. And secondly, he claimed that the uniform belongs to a friend of his who is also a military officer, and those ones are yet to be ascertained. And we are working in close collaboration with the military to find out how he got all these military uniforms, what his movements are. And to our best of surprise, even his wife did not know he wasn't a military officer. Even in the neighborhood where he lived, everybody knew he was a military uniformed person, and that he's been a military man for quite some time now. So it's quite strange, and it's quite worrying that somebody can be in a community, and even his close relations or acquaintances do not even know what he does, only for him to carry himself about as a security operative and moving here and there, especially when we are receiving a president for a very special occasion.
Okay. It's quite bizarre listening to the account. So, have we been able to establish his motive, why he does these things? Wear uniforms when he's not an officer, showing up at a program like this. Do we know his intent here? It's
a bit difficult for us to just conclude and say this is why he's doing it. Probably he's interested in the work, or there's a lot of things he's been telling us, but sometimes it is not so good looking at the direction of our investigations. But that is a mystery, and that is what we want to unveil, or that is what we really want to discover, what he's been doing, why he wants to do what he's doing. If you are not, why do you say you are attached to the presidency and all that? So these are the questions that are surrounding him, and we hope to get answers to it. He may not tell us. For criminals, we work with them all the time, and it will be difficult for him to tell you the motive behind it, unless we do in-depth investigations, we do thorough analysis before we'll be able to know what really he's about. Okay,
clearly a matter for concern, and you are going on with investigations, so we'll check what comes out of these investigations, because clearly if a man is living in a community, the wife does not even know that this is what he does, clearly a threat for everyone. But apart from this incident, there's also the car snatching bit, and not to personalize it, we've seen a number of instances here in Accra of people's cars being snatched. How big is this syndicate, and what kind of havoc have they been causing now that we've grabbed them?
Yes, regarding the car snatching, it is something that we realize that when you look at our crime trend, we experience them sometimes in the year. Then we realize that we are able to fight it. We combat it, we bust some of these syndicates or some of these criminals or perpetrators. We get them jailed, and before we realize, another group will resurrect from somewhere that we do not know. Then it puts another pressure on us again to go back to also fish for them or look for them. And mostly they come about with different modus operandi, or let me say different ways of carrying about their diabolic activities. So at every point in time, there is this particular syndicate that goes about with this operational style. And whenever we hear the accounts of the victims, we realize that yes, probably it is this group that may be in oppression. And we also have certain areas that we find them.
Which areas?
Oh, there are lots. If we have to say, places like Pokwase, places like Sakumono, it used to be Mile 7, and some other extremes of Accra, where they believe that they can have more advantage over you. And there was a time that I even released, the Public Affairs Unit, my office released some kind of crime alert, where we should all be careful, and also putting out there for the public to know the kind of modus they use or the styles they use, and taking or snatching your vehicles from you. Now, what we have realized that the new trend they have taken is where they come to you purporting to be interested buyers in a car that you are selling. And most of the times it has to do with those vehicles that are not licensed, the DV vehicles and the DP number plate vehicles. Those ones, they believe that you have not made some form of formal registrations. Therefore, it will be easy for them to snatch. And we realize that they also have equal, readily available markets. I don't want to mention the cars for somebody to be scared, but usually there are certain targets, there are certain cars that they usually snatch from victims.
But if you mention, it will help. So for whoever has it, they will be on the alert, isn't it?
No, wouldn't they be like, oh, I'm using this vehicle, and the police says that the criminals would want to come and
especially
attack
if
me.
they haven't registered it, then they will be motivated to do so.
Yes, I'm talking about the make of the vehicle. That is what I wouldn't mention. But vehicles that are not registered. If you have not registered your vehicle, there's an avenue for criminal to attack you.
Okay.
Then secondly, we have people who usually post on their vehicles for sale. There's a number there, so anybody who is interested quickly goes there, or pick the number, call, pretend. In this particular instance like this, he just saw a poster on the car that he wants to sell, like for sale with a number. So he took the number, he contacted the owner, then they arranged to meet in his house. After doing his checks by himself, he said, oh, I want my fitter to also check it. So they went to a fitting shop together with their owner. Then at the fitting shop, we had people reporting to be fitters coming to work on it. Then quickly they sit in their car, and that was it. But fortunately on our part, we were able to get these people arrested. So there are so many ways. It's for now, for some time now, it died down until just in recent times that we are still experiencing. And also the timings, you know, they have certain times that they do snatch. Even sometimes they even come to your house, and especially if you are somebody who would want to kind of take the car along with them to do a testing. If you're alone, it's also easy for them to overcome you and also take the cars from you. So there are so many areas. Sometimes too, especially with the commercial vehicles like this, you can sometimes, they stop you. One person can stop you and ask that, oh, would you help me put my baggage in the vehicle?
Okay.
So your mind will not even go there. You're a taxi, you think you have gotten somebody to put a baggage in the car. Quickly, when you step down, they just jump into it and off they go. So you step down to open the boots, then they quickly come, jump into it and go.
And then they hop off.
Exactly.
Okay. So you've already explained that this is something that comes up, dies down, comes back up. Is there a certain ready market for these stolen vehicles?
I believe yes. Most of us now, especially those of us who are growing up, the young in society, most of us would want some vehicle to do around. Everybody wants to own a vehicle. So it is easy selling some, especially with one that I see on the screen now. It is easy selling. And when you look at the amount, the price it goes, usually it is not the same amount that is on the market. So if anybody approach you with this vehicle, you knowing the market value of the vehicle, you quickly just offer you'll show your interest to pay and just get it out.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes too, there was a time we realized that there was this syndicate who will not even sell the vehicle. What they would do is to take the vehicle from you and quickly go and cut it into scrap and sell it as scrap. And that was a syndicate that we busted, I think, last year ago. And they had done over 10 together with big trucks and all of that. So immediately they get the vehicle. There is a vehicle shop that they quickly drive there. then immediately they cut it into scrap. So we pick some of the vehicles just like that, you know, in their raw state, some of them so beautiful, but they've been cut into scrap. This is how wicked some of us can be. So it is sometimes it's a serious, and for the readily available markets too, they are there. We have others who would also go beyond Ghana, especially the neighboring countries, also do the sales.
So they pick the car, they drive it out of Ghana to Togo, to Ivory Coast,
quickly.
To
that
Burkina.
Is why it's always essential that whenever your car is snatched, you quickly reach the police as soon as possible. There was this time that a vehicle was snatched, and because the information got to us very early, we were able to bust them whilst on their way to Aflao. So we got them on the way, then we arrested them. And also the use of these tracking devices, we always say them, but people do not take a keen interest in that. That area is also something that we should all consider.
Okay, so just briefly, before we wrap up on the car snatching issue, what should people do? For those who drive, for those who have DV plate vehicles, what do they do?
For DV plates vehicles, what we always say is that why haven't you registered your vehicle? Then it means that you yourself, you have a certain agenda. I believe that you have bought a vehicle. You want to use it. So what is preventing you? I know that some, after a little bit of investigations, we realized that some of them, especially buying it at the tail end of the year, they would want to wait till the next year. So they register, somebody knows that they have a new plate and all that. But that you have to think of, you've bought a car. So what will prevent you from registering? So we have to. Everybody should register. Then also we should avoid always posting our numbers for sale on our cars. The moment you post it there, anybody out there who believes that they want that vehicle will come for it.
Then how do people sell their cars?
So I believe that if you can contact the agencies that sell vehicles, especially the showrooms and things, at least it's something you have to pay. But at the end of the day, it's your property, and it's also your money. We know that some of the vehicles we may never find, but others too we do find. So why don't you also meet us halfway by doing what you have to do, so that at least we'll all be getting there.
Okay, that's for the car snatching syndicate. Just before we look at other related issues to do with general security, we got this picture about a day or two ago. If you could just look at it for me, Madam Ifeatinge. We're learning that this is something that the robbers have now taken to. So they have signals and signs. D is too risky. This shape is alarmed house. 5 stones means you're wealthy. This box with the one line in it says vulnerable female, easily conned. Good target is the next one, and then nothing worth stealing. Has the police taken note of this?
Where did you get this from?
Social media.
Oh, okay. For my information, I do not know about this.
Okay.
I have to authenticate the source of this, and probably for us to also take it and look at it.
What about armed robbery generally in the region? Is it going down, or the numbers are still rising?
For now, robbery in Accra is not something I will say it's rising. At least for some time now, we have some fights against robbery, and we've been able to minimize the robbery in the metropolis. It may not go down as we all expect, but at least it's better than before. And the reason that I was signed to this probably is that some of the robbers who have been terrorizing residents for some time, we have arrested them, and they are serving various jail sentences. Yeah. Usually, as I told you before, there's usually a gang, a group that have gone through their own training, and they do the robbery, the attack. That is what they do. So in the daytime, as we are working, they are also asleep. In the night, they get up. So the moment we are able to break into them, the moment we get them and send them to where they have to be, immediately we see that it dies down, it goes down until a new group of people come up again. Okay. So for now, it's not something that we have to be afraid of.
That's fine. Moving on to general issues, 20 days to the elections. We've heard the police say time and again, we're ready. We are protecting you in every corner. But what are the practical issues, especially for the Accra Regional Police Command? How many flashpoints do we have? What's the plan here?
Yes, for the elections, the flashpoints that Accra, I would say we have is about 695. But for now, we are considering every police station as a flashpoint.
Okay.
We are not saying that because we have those on paper, we are therefore going to concentrate on these ones and leave the others. Because at this time, as tensions are happening, all that, definitely what used to be a risk in this area could be a potential risk also in the other area. So for now, we are considering every place or every location or polling station or constituency to see as a possible flashpoint. Regarding the elections, I have said it, that we say we are ready. Yes, of course, we are ready. This is not the first time the police is providing security for elections. We have done it in the past. We have tested a number of times, and at every point in time, we begin to revise our strategies. We begin to look at where we fell short in the previous ones and where we need to step up, or where we need to add what we have to do to be able to kind of underpin the already existing strategies that we have. So for that day, we are ready, and as we continue to say, we will do what we have to do as a law enforcement agency to protect every individual, to act fairly, and also to be able to act professionally as required of us.
Okay, two quick updates for me just before I let you go, Madam Ifeatinge. Last week there was an incident in Jamestown. The supporters of both parties, MPP and NDC, there was a scuffle of sorts. We were told that investigations were ongoing. What's the update on that so far?
Yes, regarding that one, we know that we're investigating, but the investigation, sometimes it takes time. We have a unit that usually handles such election-related violence. I may have to visit them once again to find out how far. If I knew we were going to go into this, probably I would have updated myself before coming. But for now, I may not be able to. The last time I checked, we had invited the Honorable Minister for Youth and Sport. So if there's anything, I have to find out.
Did he report? You don't know that?
In fact, he was supposed to report on that Friday. But when I checked it in to find out, I was made to understand that he was in a series of meetings that had to do with the same incident that happened. And he even promised the police that he was going to be there. So they presume that that is why he was preoccupied and was unable to come. So for now, I have to find out how far.
How soon would you close this? Because some will say that we are in very extraordinary times. Few days to the elections, the tensions can easily boil in. So how soon are you looking to end this investigation, get the outcome out, and deal with the people that you have to deal with?
Yes, I also think it's very necessary, because some of these things, when they come up, they need to be investigated, they need to be dealt with. Everybody will know their stance, people will know what they have done, what we all need to do. So I know that we are all putting priorities, especially on election-related violence and issues of this nature. So I know that it shouldn't be so long a time. At least we should be able to come up with something that would be worth hearing.
Okay, final one will be on what happened on Sunday at the residence of Nana Akufo-Addo. How far with the investigations? Because we know that you said you had been doing some work in that regard. What's happening now? Yes,
with that incident, I wouldn't want to go so much into it. Why? Because it's an issue that has taken a national dimension, and issues of national nature is usually handled at the national headquarters, and therefore I will be exceeding my jurisdiction if I should go into it.
So the matter has been moved to national to deal with?
It's a national dimension, therefore national is dealing with it.
It's taking care of that.
Exactly.
Okay, we'll try and get an update from the national as well, but thank you for coming today. Clearly, a lot of work is being done by your command. We're hoping that we'll see less and less of these crimes in the region and makes your work a bit more easier, but thank you for coming.
I'm grateful.
ASP Ifeatinge is the head of public relations for the Accra Region Police Command. Still talking about security in the country, still related to elections. A survey by policy think tank Center for Democratic Development, CDD Ghana, has revealed that the northern region will be the most violent prone after the announcement of the polls. The survey results, which were released to the public today in Accra, also show that peace and free and fair elections are some of the issues that most Ghanaians deem critical as the country heads for the polls this year. Here's the Senior Research Fellow of CDD, Dr. Adam Salome.
Majority still think that political parties and candidates are very likely to use violence in the upcoming elections. Of course, the parties are major players in the elections. And Ghanaians think that they would use violence in the upcoming elections. Only about 4 in 10, 37% do not think so. The 54%, that's half of the electorate, think that political parties will use violence in the upcoming elections. But Ghanaians, as we are, they say Ghanaians are peace-loving people, are very committed to peaceful elections, and there appears to be a very strong commitment to free and fair elections. So nearly two-thirds, 62%, say they prefer an election to be entirely peaceful, even if it's not completely free and fair. This might sound like good news, but for a democracy-promoting institution like ours, it's quite worrying. Ghanaians would choose peace over free and fairness of an election.
Now, much as the survey noted that Ghanaians are generally peaceful people, 8 in 10 of the respondents justify the use of violence in events leading to or after the elections. According to them, violence should be used to support a just cause.
Close to 8 in 10 say that they prefer to have a completely free and fair elections, even if their candidate fails to win. And this is the same figure that we got in July. Only 15% compared to 16% in July would prefer their candidate to win even if the elections were not free and fair. And again, a large majority, 44%, believe it is very or somewhat likely that the wrong vote tally would be announced. Only half of Ghanaians trust that the correct ballot counts would actually be announced. A third also deem it likely that their votes will not be counted, although two-thirds, 64%, do not share that fear, but 31% is quite high for those who feel that their votes will not be counted. And again, although most Ghanaians believe that it is not at all or very likely, or not at all very likely for powerful people to know who they voted for, nearly a quarter, close to 25%, think that powerful people can know who they voted for.
Right, so that's for security-related issues. CDD Ghana with that report.